Good morning, beautiful. How was your night? Man.
Welcome to the pod.
This show sucks.
Welcome to the pod.
Oh,
if you're still with us, you're a good person. All right, 2 cents to Josh and Spence. I'm your host, Josh. This is the other host, Spence.
Big episode today, man.
You
know what today is?
Sucks.
Today,
yeah.
and I learned this from you. We have an inaugural episode. I learned what that word is.
Why don't you tell the fam what it means?
Inaugural mindset Sode.
Womp 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 womp. Let's talk about mindset.
Let's get into it. I really like that name though. Let's put a pin in that for the future ones. Mindset Sode. I love that.
Okay, like how Rogan has like the MME. It's like episode 2000, but like MME 105. MMA.
Yeah, but we're better than him.
Mixed martial arts.
Mindset Sode. Let's go.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna talk about mindset. So I was in charge of picking the topic today, and for as much as I like real estate, I really like just talking about mindset, personal growth, serving others, becoming a better human being, etc. So this would actually be a Sode for just about anybody, because we've all got minds and they need to be set right. You know what I'm saying?
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
So for like real estate or any type of sales position in particular, like pretty high stress, pretty high rejection rate.
Yeah.
So like I mean the sales reps for any number of things, but like for us, it's 100% commission. So you gotta pay to play. You gotta sell some stuff to keep selling stuff. So
right. And what sucks is when you start out, you're not making any money, which is extremely stressful.
That was absolutely the case.
My mind was not set.
Right. It's a scary place to be.
Yeah.
It can be, right? So high stress, high rejection, right? So it's very easy to get kind of off course. It's like what's that saying? Like as the acorn bends, the tree grows, or whatever, right? As the tree bends,
Just say it's oak.
The acorn grows, the tree bends. Would that make more sense?
No.
Why would the acorn bend?
That's why you don't have a microphone right there.
Big dummy over here.
No, but anyway, mindset's the same thing, right? So it's like those daily disciplines, right? So it's like your mindset gets a touch off, and then a touch off from there, and then a touch off from there. Pretty soon you're a crabby little stinker,
Yep.
right? Hating to just talk to people on the phone, talking super crabby to people on the phone.
Yep.
And then too, high rejection. So you got to hear, you hear the word no a lot, which can be very frustrating, right? Especially when, but then that too, like you get your mind wrapped around that, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, that's no big deal. Like, I'm just here to help. We say that all the time. I'm just trying to help, baby. Just here to help. So I think the biggest thing kind of for us is just to keep like an attitude of service, right? Like it's all about other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like we're, even working backwards, like how we got kind of our mission to spread joy and empower other people, right? So none of that has really anything to do with real estate sales,
Right.
per se, right? Like that's just the vehicle that we chose to happen to do that or whatever. But so when we're in those high rejection things, like some, because it's super common. Like somebody stops by our website, and then we call them to say like, hey, stop by our website, like anything we can help with, and then they're just kind of frustrated, like, I didn't, why are you calling me or whatever. Like that could be very easy. It could be very easy to be like, well, shoot. Am I doing the right thing or whatever? But no, you just change your mindset around like, hey, I'm just trying to help people, man. Like you stop by my website. Can I help you? If not, that's no big deal,
Yeah. And that's one thing that I've really been working on. Like it's a lot harder to get rejected if you're trying to sell someone something.
Mm-hmm.
So like I take a totally different approach, and I know you do too, because you taught me it. It's more, I'm just here to give you all the information you need so that you can make your own decision. I'm just here to help. Stuff like that. Like
100%.
we're not trying to sell anyone anything. You do what you want to do. We're here to help if you need us. So.
Well, it would like real estate especially, but even like a car or whatever, like nobody leaves the dealership be like, that
Right.
That's sly, dog. So I had no business. I did not want this car,
Right.
and yet here I am.
It's like you went to the car place first. You did want a car.
It's what happens, man. Same. So, but I think we mentioned this on a different episode. Like nobody's ever been like at closing been like, man, I made a huge mistake. I can't believe you made me do this, right?
Right.
Or it's like, so it's like we use the term like it's like fishing too, right? Like you don't like every time you cast a line, you don't get a bite every time, right? Like you just keep casting a line and you either get something or you don't. But again, it's like, hey, we're just here to help. And then two, just not being married to the outcome, right? So it's like we're going to show up the best that we can for this person. If we can help, great. And then if not, no problem, you know? And so I feel like I found, I mean, the best way to do that, to like keep your head in that right space is just, you know, keeping an attitude of service and then being just focused on gratitude, right? Because one of the things we say here at Keller Williams is like what you focus on expands, right? And I've read a bunch of books and a bunch of people call it different things, but basically there's like the reticular activating system in your brain. RAS for short.
Ooh.
Right?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Pneumatics guy. Love that.
There we go. I'm a big RAS guy. Oh, just razzing you. Oh. Anyway.
Chill out.
All right, let's calm down now. Pump the brakes there. So your reticular activating system basically like, so at any given time, your like brain or your body is like processing like 60,000 bits of information, right? Like it could be like your heart beating, like sweat coming down, whatever, like the air conditioning turning on or whatever. But like your mind can only process like a certain chunk of that, right? So you focus on like whatever you focus on. So it's the same thing like you ever go out and want to buy a car, right? And you decide like I want to buy a black Ford F-150. Well, guess what you see driving everywhere?
Yeah.
Black Ford F-150s.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's just kind of the way it is. So whether you know, so now, and then that choice is on you. So I could choose to focus on all the stuff I have to be grateful for, focus on all the great stuff, or I could focus on, you know, why is this, whatever. You know what I mean? Like you stub your toe on the way out of bed in the morning, and then your whole day just spirals out of control. Or, you know, whatever. Focusing on gratitude. So, so I think that's big time. And
One thing that has really helped in my mindset, and we've talked about this before too, but the people you surround yourself with, like whether that's at work or whether that's at home or whatever, like the people you're around are a big part of how you feel every day and how you act. So like for me, before I joined the Jaster group, I sat in an office all by myself dealing with that rejection and stuff. Like I hated coming to work. Now I'm surrounded by you guys. Somebody gets mad at me on the phone or whatever. If you get mad at me on the phone, you guys, you should hear what we say about you after.
You are nicer to us than we are.
We're
to
just
you.
trying to help. But,
We're just trying to help, man.
but for real, it's a lot easier to deal with that rejection when you're surrounded by people who are also dealing with that same thing and people who can pick you up when you're down and all that stuff. So
100%.
And that's not just real estate. Like who you hang out with. Obviously, like everyone knows that. Who you hang out with is who you're going to be.
Yep. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? And then you're accumulation of the people that you're talking to in the books that you read, right? So it's like, you know, talk to buttheads, like you're probably going to be a butthead, you know, or more prone to butthead type things versus, you know, super nice guy, super generous, super bubbly, super whatever, joyful, like you're more likely. Because then too, the people that aren't into that, like if I'm super, super jacked up all the time and full of joy and just always crack it, like if somebody's not into that, they're going to like remove themselves away from me. Like, like a lot of that, like, because they talk about you got to remove yourself from other people, but like a lot of those people just remove themselves from me because they just don't want to deal with it.
Well, like, can you imagine if I just was super quiet? Like I probably wouldn't even be on your team.
Yeah, this would be 2 cents. This would be 2 cents with Josh.
Josh and Dustin.
Yeah, 2 cents of Josh and Dusty. All right. So that's a big one. And another thing too is like what books are you reading, right? So I read one. So that kind of just started out my whole trajectory of getting into real estate in the first place. Like I read a book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And so it just changed my whole mindset around like investing and what's an asset and what's a liability, all that type of stuff. So, but then that was like And that's kind of what I hope like this podcast might be for other people. And
Right.
that's why I'm kind of more excited to talk about this stuff as opposed to like how's the market and selling your house and all that type of stuff. Cause like maybe this could turn somebody on to watching some actual not knuckleheads talk about that and like kind of keep
What do you mean, dude? We're professionals.
soups profesh. But anyway, I read that book and then I just started getting into reading other books. And then somebody sent me like a YouTube clip of like an inspirational thing on YouTube. I didn't even know that existed. Now I watch that stuff all the time, and it totally just kind of changed things. But then through that journey, I found out like the average CEO reads like 52 books a year. So they read a book a week. So now your boy reads 52 books a week.
Really?
Or a month or a year. Whoa. A book a week. There it is. I listen to them on Audible. Makes it
Okay,
much easier.
that was my question. Does that count?
Absolutely it counts.
Cool.
It's consuming information.
Cool.
That'd be like asking somebody like, hey, you only listened to this pod, you didn't watch it on the thing. Does that count? It's
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Yeah. Shame on you. But yeah, it's just a good way to, and then too, you realize like kind of where you're at. So if I feel like I'm kind of getting down in the dumps one way, I've got like a go-to book, right? So if I feel like I'm slacking on some of my habits, I'll read like The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, because that book talks about like the compound effect and how your daily decisions compounded over time creates who you are. And then, if I'm struggling with something with the team or whatever, not sure what to do next, I'll read like, one of Gary Keller's books on how to, how to create a team or whatever, so you just kind of find where you're at. So what books are you reading? And it can't be much easier now, like with Audible. So like, I don't just sit down and read or sit down and listen to a book. Like every day that I'm exercising, I'm listening to a book. If I'm ever going for a run, I'm listening to a book. When I'm in the car, if I'm just mowing the yard or whatever, which I shouldn't be because Jace should be doing that. Jace, mow the yard. You know what I mean? Like doing laundry, get your earphones in, or like basically any time I'm alone, like I'm trying to consume some helpful information, which probably sounds like to some, like even me before kind of getting into it, I would say like, dude, that sounds awful, but it's not. Like I couldn't go back now. Like I compare it to like the Matrix. Like I took the red pill, right? And now I can't go back to, like I couldn't go back to like being a victim anymore. You know what I mean? I just changed. Like I can't even, I couldn't do it. So now if like listening to whatever, there's some generic radio station, or even as wild as it sounds, like even my favorite gangster rap from back in the day, you know what I mean? I'll listen to that, and then it's like when I'm done listening to it, I feel like I just ate a bag of potato chips. Like I just wasted that time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's just as like, probably brutal as it sounds, or like not awesome as it might sound, like it just changes you, for the better, in my opinion.
I totally hear you. You feel just like refreshed and in a totally different mindset. Right now I'm listening to Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. That guy's absolutely insane. I'm going to give you some homework too. Those books that you mentioned, send me links. We'll put them in the show notes.
Yeah.
So you guys can click on them.
I've done that many times. So yeah, we'll do that, because I've got like, 100 books on my Apple Book account or whatever, but some of them are better than others. But yeah, we'll put some of that'd be cool if we like put the books and then like in case of emergency, break glass. Like if you're feeling like this, read this book. Whatever. That'd be cool.
Yeah. One part I listened to today was he's trying to like callous his mind. David Goggins, and he's a Navy SEAL. So one thing
Snatching
he
souls.
does, yes,
Stay hard.
yes. I absolutely hate getting up in the morning to work out. I'd rather do it in the afternoon or whatever. But he's like, no, you need to do the things that you absolutely hate doing so you can callous your mind. So that's what I've been working on. What do you?
I don't know if you can see that right there. That says take cold showers.
I saw that in the notes, and I'm very excited to get to there because you sound like a psychopath.
Oh, dude, it's it's good stuff. But it's the same thing. Like every morning, it's like, all right, I'm done. And like I think of stuff like that, like David Goggins, Jocko Willink, Tim Kennedy, just like American, like true, just savages, right?
Yeah.
And then that's one of my favorite quotes is like, the mind is the general, the body's the troops, right? So it's like, hey, I decided I'm going to take a cold shower. So I'm going to take a cold shower, and I'm going to be better off than before. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's really all it is. It's like almost saying like F you to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's just wild.
Yeah.
Like,
And it works, dude. So even just like, I just about drank a Celsius before this. I just about broke down and I said, no. I actually went and reached for a grab. I grabbed a can. I said, no, but just that sort of stuff, being like, no. It's like Kobe Bryant had a cool thing one time. He's like, basically at the end of every season, he would write a new contract with himself, like with his workout regimen and all that type of stuff. And then he's like, it's done. There's no more, it doesn't matter what I feel or whatever. Like, it's done. I made a commitment to myself, and that's exactly what's going to happen, and in any like training, any books, like anything, like it's that 80-20 principle again, where it's like 80% your mindset and then 20% the X's and O's. Because like there's very few things that are actual rocket science, right? But it's like getting yourself in that right space. And then after that, after you get done with your mind, then the body comes next. So exercising, I've always found, and like in anything, like they always taught, you got to be exercising. You got to be doing something. Doing something. It doesn't have to be crazy, but doing something. Again, just to commit to yourself, like, hey, I said I want to be in a little bit better shape, so I'm going to go. I said I was going to go for a walk today, so now I'm going to go for my walk today.
This is by far the biggest thing for me with my mindset. Like if I am able to move around, whether it's taking my dog on a walk, just getting some kind of movement in before, I am in such a better headspace. It's
100%,
insane.
100%. Well, like, I mean, I'm not a scientist or whatever, but like, I'm not a science. But like, it
Clearly not.
Obviously, but it releases endorphins in your brain, right? Like those feel good endorphins, and so I do the same thing. So like today, I was dragging today, and I didn't want to go, but I went to jujitsu over noon and worked out really hard, and I felt much better afterwards. Like I couldn't even. It's weird. It's like I almost couldn't even relate to myself from earlier in the day.
Yeah,
which is a weird thing. That's like the weirdest thing I've ever said.
My brain almost is like foggy until I
Yeah.
can move around. And if I don't move around, it's like, did I just like black out the whole day? Or like what happened?
But it's like I'm driving home and I'm like, that stuff that I thought was a big deal earlier this morning, like that's not a big deal at all. That's an easy fix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be anything crazy, and everybody, and even like myself, I can feel like as I get older, like it's less about like lifting weights and more about just like mobility and function and all that type of stuff and whatever. But yeah, just getting your body moving. And then too, like anything else, like it doesn't have to suck too.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like the more you do it, like you callous your mind, right? And it won't suck, but like getting started, like it doesn't have to suck. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of people make the mistake, and this is in that compound effect. He talks about someone's like, like the January 1, right? Like everybody gets a gym membership and everybody buys cool new gym clothes and stuff. And then like, I'm going to go to the gym 2 hours a day. And then on Wednesday, they can't make it up there for the 2 hours. So then they're like, well, I'm just not going to go. And then that then compounds in a couple of days. Then all of a sudden, then they got to cancel their gym membership in June and whatever.
Right.
As opposed to just like every day doing something. And then whether it be some kind of sport or some kind of like pickleball. I feel like people play pickleball.
Oh, so fun.
Right? Or even if you go
Good
golf.
exercise.
Like even if you go golfing, just walk.
Yeah.
Like walk 9 holes.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's harder than it looks too.
Yeah, I know.
Your feet hurt by the end of it.
I know. But like lifting weights, running, doing different sports, martial arts, like that has been big time for me in my mindset. Like going to jiu-jitsu has been just freaking awesome. I absolutely love it. And wouldn't trade. Like I no longer, and like I go for over the noon hour. And so I like people used to go to lunch all the time with people like, yeah, let's go to lunch and catch up. Like I don't go to lunch anymore because it's just awesome.
Yeah. Don't love seeing you come back from lunch with black eyes though.
Hey,
it's tough to see, but
hey man,
do what you got to do.
This is what it is. Callus in my face too.
My mind and my face.
My mind and my face. I'd love to say that you should see the other guy, but I don't dole out black eyes. I only receive the black eyes. But yeah, but the cold shower thing too. So like, yeah, I kind of have been weaning myself off of caffeine. So just I used to have like 2 cups of coffee in the morning, and then I'd have a Celsius in like at this time or a little bit before this, which is like those are 200 milligrams of caffeine, and a cup of coffee is like 80. So it's that 320.
Oh, not math
320
majors either.
Total 360.
About 360. That's a lot of caffeine.
Yeah.
Person doesn't need that much caffeine, right? Anyway, And then for us too, especially, is just like getting back into just sales in general, or like real estate sales, just
Well,
like,
actually, really quick,
Oh.
because this cold showers thing reminded me of another thing that you do, and it kind of comes back to that Celsius thing. You told me you will just like quit things for periods of time, just to like prove to yourself that you can do it.
Yeah.
Speak on that a little bit, because that's so cool to me.
well, it's what it sounds like. And that again came from Darren Hardy in the Compound Effect, but he talks about like, he loves to drink. He loves to have a glass of wine or two in the evening, or he loves to, do this or that, or he loves to have whatever, chocolate or whatever the case is. But basically it's a way of like keeping your vices in check, basically, to be like, hey, fool, I'm still in charge around here.
Yeah.
And that's actually kind of what I thought of. Like, I literally reached for Celsius, I grabbed it, and I felt like ashamed.
Yeah.
Because it was basically like, no, because like, if you change your mindset around it, and this probably sound weird too, but it's like being a drug addict almost. Like, I can't help it. So it's like, no, like if I decide that I'm not drinking caffeine for a month, like that's what's going to happen. If I'm going to eat clean for so-and-so or whatever, like, and it's not easy at all. And like, I'm not nearly as like disciplined as I should be. But yeah, that's just a way of just staying in charge, keeping track. It's the same. So it could be like, alcohol, like I'm not going to drink alcohol for a month, or I'm not going to, have my nicotine patches for a month, or whatever the hell, the little things, whatever. But yeah, just a way of being like, again, like the mind is the general, the body's the troops. It's like, you do what I tell you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool.
So
I like that.
but a couple other things I do. I always joke, like, I'm at the age now, like, to feel better. Like, on the day before my birthday, I'll go to the chiropractor so I don't feel old on my birthday. You know what I mean? So, but if ever I'm in a funk, that's how I unfunk myself, is I'll go to the chiropractor, I'll get a haircut, and then I'll just like deep clean my environment. It's like my vehicle, the house, because I'm also a slob at the same time. So I'm not like, I'm the problem,
Yeah.
but then somehow I get to feel like superhero when I fix my,
Hey,
fix my,
way to set up a win for you.
that's what I'm
Love
saying.
that.
That's
Love
what
that.
I'm saying. So yeah, those are the biggest things. But then the last thing, just too, from like a salesperson perspective, especially, like, again, it's just this like dichotomy that we put ourselves in, but it's like, we're all about service, right? Like, we want to take care of people. We want to be there at all times, but at the same time, we have to be of service to like our friends and family too, right? So like, being able to unplug and just set those expectations with the clients that you're working with, like, hey, and that's one of the cool things, because I was in real estate for a long time before starting the Jaster Group. And that was like one of the things, like when you went on your honeymoon, like you could not have your phone on for 2 weeks and come back and like everything's fine. You know what I mean? And not have to worry about like what's going on back home. But being able to like just unplug and give yourself that grace, because like that, and we talked about this in a different mindset meeting yesterday. Like, that's one thing that I presently struggle with and have struggled with for a long time, is like, you get to go outside and like be Mr. Wonderful to everybody else. And then you go home, it's like, oh, okay, I'm tired and crabby now. So,
Right.
like, that's not cool. So being able to unplug like from here to then be much more present wherever you are. And that's another Jocko Willink thing. He talks about how discipline equals freedom, right? So it's like, if you're super disciplined with your finances, then you can be financially independent, right? If you're super disciplined with your whatever, your sales calls or your lead generation, then all of a sudden, like, is going to make everything much, much easier. If I'm disciplined with my body or whatever, then yeah, if like get the opportunity to do something cool, I don't have to worry about hurting myself. You know what I mean? But that is the big thing, and that's part of the beauty of kind of what I want our group to be, is to like be able to serve everybody else at a high level, but at the same time, like what's the point, right? If it's going to come at the expenses of your relationships and all that type of stuff, is like, is it worth it? And the answer is no. So, but yeah, those are some of the things that we, have had really good luck with keeping our mind right. Because it's easy. It's easy when you're getting dirt kicked in your face out there, just trying to help people, and you're poor and you're, whatever. And, but yeah.
That's cool, man. Those are good inaugural mindset. So I'm
Mindset
excited.
Sode.
I'm excited to do more of these, and like, we should like get into stuff like one mindset. So we can talk about insecurities or stuff like that. Like
What are
really
those?
just dive in.
Just kidding. Just kidding. No,
All right.
no, I couldn't agree more. But like truly, like I love talking about this stuff.
I know you do.
I
You get jacked up about it.
I like talking about real estate, but I love, you know what I mean? Because it's like I was thinking about that today. You know that the Wolf of Wall Street was like, sell me this pen. You know, I'm like, sell me this. It's like, well, do you want the house or not? You want to sell your house or not? Okay,
Right.
cool. But like this stuff, like this applies to anybody in any walk of life, whether you know whatever. So, and there's only so many things that we can control. We can control our attitude, we can control our effort, and we can control our skills, like our skills, our activities, and our mindset. Right?
You're just a walking quote machine.
Heck yeah!
I love it.
All right, hey,
Yeah.
that's a Sode.
Let's go.
Till
Watch for
next
deer.
time. Watch for deer. Shake a bug.